Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Travel Mug Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Jen. How's your week going so far?
It is going well, although it is getting chilly, and I'm not a fan.
No. Chilly and dark, and I always think at this time of year we just need to start it so we can get through it.
Yep.
Let's get on with it already. Well, you have been traveling. So exciting. And I'm excited to hear about your most recent trip to Boston, Massachusetts to see John Mayer and explore the city. And I'd love to start by discussing unfortunately, what happened a few days before your trip. So do tell our listeners your tale.
Yes, yeah, I did a lot of texting to Megan in the days leading up to my trip. We continued our tradition of traveling at the same time, so that was kind of fun.
Yes.
So 4 to 5 days before our trip to Boston, which by the time you're listening to this will have been a couple of weeks ago. We started to hear about tropical storm Hurricane Philippe, and I was like, "Oh god." And we were only a couple weeks out from hurricane or post-tropical storm Lee hitting us. So, we were all, like, a little bit paranoid, right?
Sound shocked, if you will.
I didn't have power for a few days, like, the major road to get out of my neighborhood was closed, it was yeah, we had just done that. So, we were due to leave Halifax to fly to Boston, on a Thursday evening, and by Wednesday morning, I was getting, like, pretty concerned about how the storm was going to affect our Sunday evening flight home. So, at that time, the timeline for Philippe was Sunday night into Monday. We have 4 animals at home. One of them is a dog that we had never left alone. Not alone, but with someone other than us.
Right.
We had a pet sitter staying at our house, and we really needed to be home before Monday for work commitments and such like that. Long story, very short, Wednesday morning, my husband and I decided to change our flight to come home on Saturday evening instead. It cost us around $600. I will say that the process on the Air Canada website was very easy to do, so that was
They'll
worth it.
take your money very easily. Try to get a refund, you'll never find the link.
No, but stay tuned, and I'll tell you how it turned out.
So I guess my question, and maybe we need to save it till later when you tell us how it turned
Yeah.
out. But as a preview, maybe to that, do you regret your decision?
Yes and no.
Okay, we can come back to that later if you wish. I was
We'll come
just
back to it after
curious.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So then talk it to us then about actually getting to Boston and your first evening there. This was your first time, correct?
Yes, yeah, sort of. So, the only other time I was in Boston, I was, I think, like, 18 years old, and my family and I flew from Halifax to Boston and then took a train from Boston to New York. So, I flew Halifax to Boston, got on a bus, went to the train station, and then got on a train. So, like, I was in Boston, but I wasn't in Boston. You know what I mean?
Right. So we're going to call it a no.
We're gonna call them now. So we flew Halifax to Boston Logan Airport direct. It's a really quick, like hour and a half-ish flight, which is very pleasant. It's probably one of the quickest flights I've ever taken. Maybe Ottawa or I haven't flown into Montreal. Ottawa is probably about the same or a little bit shorter. Anyway, after we landed, we planned to take the subway into a station called Government Center. It took me a while, or took us a little while to figure out that you actually had to take a free bus from the airport terminal to the subway station. I was looking for the subway station, like, at the airport. Not a thing. So if you're going to Boston, you do have to take it doesn't take very long, but you do have to take a bus. And then we took the subway. It was really easy to use, and we walked to our hotel from there. So
Nice.
I actually ended up changing our hotel at the last minute when I changed our flights. And I have absolutely no regrets about changing our hotel. I am so glad that we changed it. So we
So
were
can I ask why you changed it? Like, what prompted that decision?
so hotels in Boston aren't cheap, and I don't know if it's because we were technically there on a holiday weekend. It was Columbus Day in the US and it was Thanksgiving in Canada. I don't know if that made it, like, just ridiculously more expensive, but I didn't wanna pay the price when I first booked it, so I booked a cheaper hotel further out, and then when we changed from 3 nights to 2 nights, I was like, "You know what? F it. I'm just gonna pay to be closer to where we wanted to be." So we were originally booked to be in Assembly Square. We would have had to, like, take the subway a lot more, and it just would have been a lot more challenging to, like, get around. So I
Mhm.
ended up changing us to the Courtyard by Marriott, Boston downtown slash North Station. Rolls right off the tongue. It's right across from TD Garden. We checked in and it was just so funny because we got there and the guy's like, "Oh, what are you in town for?" And I said, "Oh, we're here for the John Mayer concert." And he goes, "Oh my god, you're gonna love your room. Like, you're gonna love it. You're in penthouse 2, you're overlooking the gardens, like, you're just gonna be so happy." And I was like, "Yes, I am. I'm already happy."
Thank you, sir. Yes,
Thank
I
you
am.
so much. So we went up to our room and we were, overlooking TD Garden and the Leonard P. Zachem Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge. They just love long names here.
Yeah.
It was perfect. I would 100% stay there again. It was really great.
So did you pay for a penthouse or you were upgraded? Tell the people.
I don't know, like, I will say, so penthouse, a little misleading, our room was like a regular room. It just
Okay.
happened to be on the top floor and
Okay.
overlooking the I think it's more the view than anything else,
Okay.
like, the room itself was very nice, but it wasn't what you think of when you think penthouse room, I
Right.
guess.
Okay.
But I actually don't know, like, I'm sure because I booked it literally, like, 2 days no, the day before we arrived that there probably wasn't that many room categories left, so
Got understood. Understood. So let's talk food. You must have
yeah,
been hungry.
I was starving, so we grabbed a quick dinner at The Hub, which is part of TD Garden, and it has, like, a bunch of mini versions of popular restaurants, which is really fun. So we had some Greek food. I had, like, a chicken shawarma pita, and they put french fries, like, in the pita, which I've never
Yeah.
had that before, but it was quite tasty. And I also got some pastries, which were absolutely massive, but delicious.
For supper?
Well, it was like supper dessert. I ate them on the way to we walked to the Boston Commons after we ate because we had a ghost tour booked for 8 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm real like, it was really fun. So we did this ghost tour with Haunted Boston Ghost Tours. It was like a small group. I think there was 12-ish of us, and it was about an hour and 20 minutes long. So they talked a lot about the history of Boston. Edgar Allan Poe was born in Boston, which
Okay.
I didn't know that, but he was. We talked about, like, reported hauntings, including the Omni Parker Hotel, which is apparently one of the most haunted hotels in the world or in the US. The tour was super reasonably priced at 18 US dollars a person. There were other tours I was looking at that were, like, way more expensive. And I also had to change our ticket date because I did originally book the ghost tour for Saturday night, and then, of course, we were going home on Saturday night. So I emailed them, and they were able to switch our tour to Thursday, no problem. Like, they were really great, and I would definitely recommend that company if anyone is looking for a ghost tour.
Excellent. And that was Haunted Boston
Boston
Ghost
ghost
Tours.
tours. Yeah, I'll definitely link
Awesome.
them in the show notes so that the people can check them out.
All right. So that's your Thursday.
Yes.
Now talk us through your Friday.
All right. So Friday was our only full day in Boston.
Right.
It was a quick trip. We got up early and I then of course had to have more pastries because when in Boston,
As one does.
we went over to Modern Pastry, which has been family owned and operated for 80 years. Crazy.
Wow.
I had a lobster tail, which is like a flaky pastry filled with fresh whipped cream, Italian pastry cream, and ricotta. It was massive. Like, it was so
Mm.
big.
I saw the picture. It looked amazing.
It was really good. Unfortunately, Ryan couldn't eat there because he has a nut allergy and it's just not safe. So we went to the Boston Public Market where he could find some food. There was a ton of different food spots for him to choose from.
Good.
And then we decided to do the Old Town Trolley Tour. So it's a hop on, hop off type tour. It's narrated by the driver. It was not cheap, but I would definitely recommend it. It was nice to be driven around and have the driver be able to tell you things that
Mhm.
you know what you're looking at, right? Like, we learned a lot, and it did make it easier to get around because then you don't really have to think much. We got off and walked over to Fenway Park to walk around. Unfortunately, we were there after baseball season had ended, so we didn't get to see. I
For
would
the
have
Red Sox anyway. Other other teams continue to play,
okay,
but it was
alright.
over for the
It
Red
was
Sox.
over for the Red Sox.
We're sorry,
Yeah.
Boston.
Fair, fair, and actually, we were there at such a weird time. Our Red Sox, their season had ended, and then, like, basketball season and hockey season hadn't started yet, so there was just, like, no sport
No
going
sport.
on.
No.
So we also got off at the Quincy Market, we did some shopping, and there was some, like, buskers and that sort of thing. So we kind of just spent the day going around on the loop and getting off and walking around, and it was really nice. I would do a tour. Like I said, it wasn't super cheap, but I think by the time it's converted into Canadian dollars, it's, like, almost $100 a person, so not
Yikesters.
yeah,
But
but
you've got a short amount of time.
yep,
If you wanna see the place, you don't have a rental car, you don't wanna take the subway and guess where you're getting off,
yep,
I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm a big fan of the hop on, hop off.
yeah,
If it's part of your, what you should be doing and the time you have, the
yeah.
transportation you have, I mean, I'm a fan, so
Yeah,
I get it.
I am too. So for dinner, we ate at Al Dente on the recommendation of Christina. So Christina is a travel agent. She was on our show way back in 2021, episode 34, if you want to scroll on back there. She lives in Boston. So as soon as I had posted that we were on our way to Boston, she was like, "Oh my gosh, here are all my favorite restaurants." And I wished that I would have had time to meet up with her. But like I said, we were on a very, very strict timeline here. But Al dente, the food was really good. And oh my gosh, the portions were huge. Like, I wish that we would have had a way to heat up the food after.
Right, the
Yes, like, we
leftovers.
definitely didn't finish our food and, we're in a regular hotel room. We had a mini fridge, but no way to heat up the, the food after. So,
Right.
yes, it was actually really funny. It was a tiny restaurant, and I made a reservation. Big fan of making reservations. And, I made it the same day. But we walked in and there was, like, 2 other tables, and we're like, "Oh, I guess maybe we didn't need a reservation." And then it must have been a bus tour group just came in and, like, took over the rest of the restaurant. It was a tour from, I assume, Quebec. They all spoke French, and we were like, "This is weird, just sitting at our table listening to French in Boston."
That would be very
What?
strange.
It was
How international.
I felt like we were in Montreal, but we were in Boston.
Right, right, right.
So after dinner, it was time for John Mayer. So his concert was at the TD Garden. It was really, really good. It was a solo, so he didn't have a band with him. It was just him. It was really cool to see him in Boston. He spent 2 semesters at Berklee College of Music in Boston. So he kind of has a little bit of a special place in his heart for Boston. And it was good. I cried. He started to cry while he was singing one of the songs, and then I was like, "I'm done."
Oh, no one cries alone with me,
No.
so I would cry as well.
I was emotional. It was our 2nd time seeing him. Our 1st time, we actually saw him close to Boston at, like, an outdoor, theater outside of the city in 2010, so it had been quite a while.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
it was really fun. I'm sure sometime in the future, if he's still touring, we'll be there again. But
Excellent, I'm so glad it was good.
yeah, yeah. So Saturday morning, we we got up early. I don't think I got more than, like, 5.5 hours sleep any of the days there. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just an early riser on vacation, I think, and it was nice to, like, walk around in Boston, and we kinda walked around the North End both mornings, and there was, like, nobody, which was really nice. And so Saturday morning, we walked back to the Boston Public Market. We had super delicious bagels. Ugh, they were so good, and, some mediocre lattes, which was disappointing, but yeah,
Mm.
I know.
You can't have everything, I
Yeah,
guess.
we have a coffee shop in Liverpool called Mean and Mersey. If you're ever in Liverpool, it is the best. Like, the barista Andreas makes the best lattes, and I go everywhere and I compare them to Andreas's, and they're not
Never
the
the
same.
same.
No. Anyway, so after we had our bagels, we walked part of or most of the Freedom Trail. So the Freedom Trail, there's literally on the ground red bricks and you can follow them all around the city. So it takes you to different historic places, mostly relating to like the American Revolution. Thanks to my Hamilton obsession in 2020, I knew a lot more about the American Revolution than I did previously. So that's
You and probably a lot of other people from what I recall from 2020 of Hamilton, so
it's so true. I mean, being Canadian, I feel like we have a little bit of an excuse.
Mhm. True.
Yeah. So we also walked around the North End and then we headed to the downtown area. So by this time, we had already like checked out of our hotel. We had our backpacks on and I had packed very light, probably the lightest I have ever packed, but it was 2 nights. So I shouldn't be patting myself on the back too much. Wow, you got
True.
2 nights into a backpack? Wow, Jen.
Way to go, Jen. I'm so proud of you.
I know. So we had lunch at the Corner Mall Food Experience, which is like a
Okay.
50s dinery vibe mall food court. It was fine, fine. By then it was pouring, like it pouring.
Right.
So we walked around Macy's for a little bit and I think it was probably quarter to 2, and we had planned to head to the airport around 2:30. Our flight was supposed to be at 6 o'clock, 5 after 6, I think. Anyway, we decided to go to the airport a little bit early. We're like, "You know what? We've done everything we wanted to do. It's pouring, like, I don't wanna stand outside in the rain. Let's just leave." So we took the subway back to the airport subway station and the bus back to the airport.
Right. I'd
Alright.
love for you at this point to circle back
Mhm.
and to follow up on your changed flight to avoid the storm. Do tell us how that worked out.
Yes. So did we avoid the storm? No, we did not avoid the storm. We flew into the storm. So
What
that
if you had waited till Sunday?
would have been fine, Megan. We would have been
Okay.
completely fine. Yeah. So we were an hour delayed. So our flight was supposed to be at like 5 after 6. It wasn't until after 7. The delay I'd actually had nothing to do with the weather. The incoming flight, the plane had an issue, so they had to get us a new plane. And so, an hour delay is really not the end of the world. It
No.
was completely fine. So we did get home. We landed in Halifax at just after 10 p.m. So then it was like after midnight by the time we actually drove home to our house in Liverpool. And we drove home in the pouring rain. And our flight home actually had turbulence the entire time. They didn't turn the seatbelt sign off for the entire time. So it was a little bit bumpy. So that wasn't a lot of fun. But anyway, luckily the storm wasn't that bad. We didn't lose power. And I have to say that on Sunday morning, when I was sitting on the couch having coffee and just like had a day to do nothing, I wasn't that sad that I had come home on
Right.
Saturday. You know what I mean?
I do.
I
You got all the trouble over with already.
Yeah, I mean, the travel was great. It was really great. We had so much fun. And it's funny how some of the places like, Boston wasn't on my list of places to visit. We went to Boston because we wanted to see John Mayer, and when we were looking at the tour dates, it was a date that was good for us, and it was a city that wasn't far away. And
Right.
we were very close to he was in New York City to the 2 nights previous to the show that we went to, and we almost went to New York. I mean, we really like New York, but we've been there 3 times, and so it's like, "Let's go to a new city," and I'm really glad I did. I liked Boston a lot more than I thought I would. It is a beautiful city. The buildings are very beautiful, and it's a lot more walkable than I thought it was gonna be.
Mhm.
When I looked at it on the map, it just seemed like everything was gonna be, like, far away from each other, and then once you start walking, you're like, "Oh, this is right here." It's not that far at all. So, I really do wanna go back, and I think we will. So, the other thing I wanted to mention is we were debating going to Salem. The entire process of planning this trip, we were back and forth on whether or not there's an Amtrak train and there's a high-speed ferry from Boston to Salem, so it is easily accessible if you don't have a car. Then Salem experiences so much over tourism in October. It is actually mind-boggling. I saw some TikToks, and it was like the worst day at Disney that you could imagine. It's just like wall-to-wall people, and I've heard from people who live there and who work there, especially in the tourism industry, that they're understaffed, they're exhausted, and I just thought, "You know what? It's not gonna be that fun right now." So, we decided not to go, and as it turns out, we wouldn't have had time to go anyway, but
Right.
I will save Salem for another visit at another time of year that is not October.
And I've been there twice, once in October and once in the summer, I think. And yeah, like, I mean, the fun and excitement of October and the purpose isn't there. So it is a very different experience
Yeah.
that way. However, it is much less busy and overcrowded. So really, I mean, I totally get it. You're missing the magic of October, but you're
Right.
also missing the crowds of October. So
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
that.
That's fair.
That's right.
All right. Well, that was my trip to Boston in a nutshell. It was a roller coaster of emotions, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad you went and had a good time, and I totally get, a bit of the panic before you left and thinking you might not get home and having to make those tough travel decisions. I mean, that happens to people all the time, and this has been your experience. And I mean, it's really good to share that things don't always go as we plan.
No, and, obviously hindsight's 2020 on Saturday or Sunday evening when I was at home and the, like, sun was out, basically, I was like, "Well, we would have been fine," but you don't know. Like, you really
No,
don't know, and we decided to pay the price to have peace of mind, which ended up not being peace of mind, but you can't control the weather. Yes.
no,
That's
no.
the lesson today is you can't control the weather. So, we just decided that at least if we were planning to fly home Saturday, we would at least get home by Sunday and not into Monday because we did really have to be home before Monday, so it is what it is.
It is indeed.
All
That
right.
is for sure.
I hope you enjoyed this trip report. That's all we have this week. As always, you can find us on our website, travelmugpodcast.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Travel Mug Podcast. If you want to support the show by buying us a coffee, there'll be some fun bloopers for you. A link to that is in the show notes. And please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and sharing the show with a travel loving pal. That always helps us grow. And until next time, we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.